from the Lumberyard in Pullman, this is the Cougar Football Hour. Tonight's show is presented by the Lumberyard. They got something for everyone at the Lumberyard Food Hall in downtown Pullman. Now, alongside Cougar head coach Jimmy Rogers, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Here we go. Welcome into the Lumberyard here in Pullman. It is our first edition of the Cougar Football Hour of the season. We've got a great crowd here at the Lumberyard. Who's ready for Cougar football? We are alongside Jimmy Rogers, head coach of the Cougs. Our other guests tonight will have Jesse Bobbitt, defensive coordinator. Parker McKenna, linebacker for the Cougs, will be here as well. We got a great crowd. Coach, what's going through your mind as we're soaking up this crowd here? We've got our first Cougar Football Hour of the season.
Yeah, I'm excited. This, you've been waiting for this since we've really been here, since we gotten here, and to see everything to start to come into fruition and see the amount of people that are just at this event. I'm excited for game day.
Well, you mentioned we. I mean, this is, there's a lot for you. This has been quite the last year taking this job.
It feels like 3 years, but it's only been 7 months, 8 months, but I'm excited.
That's fair. How's life been here in Pullman for you and your family?
Yeah, we love it. We used to travel to the western part of South Dakota, which is very similar to this area in Washington. So when we had the opportunity to get away on the weekend, we'd go to West River, which is Rapid City or Spearfish, South Dakota, and so much of the views and everything is something that we'd always talk about. Man, would it be cool to live in an area like this, and then to get this opportunity at this level and to coach a team with great players and to do it with a great staff. It's really a cool experience. Not everybody gets to do it with people that you consider have grown into more family than, colleagues or coaches that you work with. And so it's exciting, and I think that we can build something special here.
Well, everyone is fired up to have you, your family, everyone on the staff here on the Palouse. And it is game week, and there's sort of a buildup. I mean, that you can feel that vibe, you can feel that energy. We get it here at the Lumberyard tonight. How is it being game week, and it's closer to kick off on Saturday night?
I think when you have always the week one, you're kind of ready on a Tuesday, and that's a long wait for you in a typical week. I think you're ready when you're ready at the end of the week because you need the time for preparation. We've had the ability to watch what we can watch throughout the course of the summer on not just Idaho, but multiple teams, because you only can take in so many games at the start of the season. So you're able to, in the summer, somewhat get pre-prepped for the season and what your initial thoughts were. And then this last week and a half, we've been kind of just looking back at old notes and reviewing what our initial thoughts were throughout the summer on Idaho. And just college football is different because you're taking on a completely different maybe team personnel-wise. And so you're trying to do research on the individual, and then you're trying to grasp at maybe what another team can do, whether it be offense or defense.
In that stretch, since you took this job, I remember the introductory press conference in late December, so much happening between now and then, putting together the roster, having spring practice, and then the summer, and here we are, fall camp. With that, from the start of fall camp until now, how would you say things have gone, just all that build-up and that leading to this point that we're roughly 48 hours from kickoff?
Yeah, it's somewhat felt like the longest time of our life, but at the same time, in the blink of an eye, I felt like I just got here. So it's been somewhat unique. I would say the biggest stretch was the amount of development our guys had taken as a full collective team when, the transfers got here all together in the summer, and the meetings that we were able to have and utilizing, the time in which we get with them in the summer to make the most out of that, to get them a little bit closer and a little bit closer day in and day out to be the product that we want to be, and then to have the fall camp that we had, the physicality, the good amount of reps going live and tackling with a brand new set of players that not only are new to Washington State, but are just new. We're a brand new team, and blending a lot of personalities together, and I think we've done a good job of meshing a team that you wouldn't feel like it's our first year together as one. And that's a large credit to the coaches. It's to the players as far as being accepting to new players coming in and being a sounding board, but also teaching them how we do things culturally. So for the most part, it's been really smooth, but it's been a lot of steps along the way, and we've really been focused on just trying to take it day by day.
Well, we can't wait to see the team in action. Coming up Saturday night, Giesa Field, 7 o'clock kickoff against Idaho. Our coverage here on the radio side will start at 5 o'clock, and we've got a lot to get to on the show here tonight. We'll talk a little bit more when we come back, just kind of big picture. We'll discuss Idaho as the show goes along. Again, we'll have defensive coordinator Jesse Bobbitt here. Parker McKenna, linebacker for the Cougs, will join us. And here we are at the Lumberyard. We want to give a special shout-out to our new host site of the Cougar Football Hour, the Lumberyard. It is packed here tonight. So many great food options. Thank you to the Lumberyard for having us. It is a gorgeous night. It feels like Cougar football weather here. And right now, a quick reminder that the Cougar Football Hour is brought to you in part by Toyota, Cougar Nation. Each time you bring your Toyota vehicle to be serviced at a local and participating Toyota dealership, you can receive a premium Washington State giveaway item as a member of the Toyota Rewards Program. Stay tuned for more information on how to become a Rewards Program member. We'll take our first time out here on the Cougar Football Hour. More after this. We are live at the Lumberyard. You're listening to the Cougar Sports Network.
For nearly 100 years, Adams Tractor has helped the Northwest knock out to-do list one tough job at a time. As your local Kubota dealer in Spokane and Lewiston, we're proud to back Washington State athletics with the same grit we bring to every yard, field, and job site. From mowing to digging to plowing, Kubota delivers, and so do we. Visit adamstractor.com. Adams Tractor, nearly a century strong, powered by Kubota, fueled by Coug pride.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
The weather is changing, and now is the time to prepare your home for winter with some new energy-efficient windows from McVeigh Brothers. McVeigh Brothers specializes in top-rated Coeur d'Alene window series that has the newest technology to reduce your heat bills and the perfect replacement door to secure your home. And right now, when you install 4 new quality windows, we'll give you the 5th window at 50% off.
McVeigh Brothers Siding and Windows, we're working for you.
Give us a call for your free quote today.
Alliant Employee Benefits is the Inland Northwest leader in employee benefit consulting and brokerage. Alliant is a difference maker, providing employee benefit solutions and problem solving while helping companies grow and protect their business. Alliant keeps its clients on the forefront of the benefit industry's constant evolution while improving the benefits experience for employees through better health outcomes and more cost-effective care. Give Alliant a call and see what they can do for you.
Back at the Lumberyard in Pullman, it is the Cougar Football Hour, our first show of the season. Finally, game week for Washington State. Saturday night, Idaho, the opponent. We are here with Jimmy Rogers, the head coach of the Cougs. And, this is something we touched on a little bit in that first segment, but I'm thinking there's 70-plus new players, and you talked about how everyone is gelled together so well. What does it take with over 70-plus new guys to get everyone on the same page and less strangers and more teammates when it comes time for kickoff?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time with our mental strength coach, Chris Kroc. He does a great job with the players as far as opening up the dialogue for our players to kind of connect and set the social setting as far as how they collaborate with one another, and then we talk about those things and we're open. And I'm a really honest person, so for me, they get the truth, whether it's good or bad or what we can do better, and it's never really ever sugar-coated because I think the players need that more than ever right now in the world that we're living in, and our coaches do a phenomenal job as far as just mending relationships inside their own position groups. And so when the position groups are close, it makes it much easier to kind of just blend position groups and do team activities. We went golfing together as a team in the summer. We went to Coeur d'Alene and went to Silverwood as a team. And then just the amount of work that these guys do every single day. We train 5 days a week, and they have the mornings, and they're around each other. And then that's what the town of Pullman is when there's not a million people in a huge city, and community is close, it makes it much easier to just connect because they enjoy being around one another, and that's what it is to do. They hang out with their friends.
I'm sure a big part of that is the player leadership, and that player-led leadership. Who have you leaned on? Who do you turn to? Who are those guys that are the leaders on this team?
Yeah, I think when I got here, Josh Meredith and Brock Dew and Christian Hellborn and a good chunk of that O-line group that was returning, I feel like we're solid people to come up and ask questions about the way things that were done. Parker McKenna was here. He's a transfer as well, but Parker had been here and kind of known how things were done. And then there's what our players that I brought with added for them. They knew the culture of what we were trying to create. They also have built-in reps inside of a scheme and the overall knowledge of a defense. And I think those two things, with an accepting group of the group that stayed, as well as our guys that were coming in, although battling for positions, were willing to help the team that was here. And in doing all of that, our team has grown so much closer. So I'm excited to be where we're at right now in the moment and what we can become. But it's going to take a full season, week in and week out, to not get caught up in wins and losses, and more about the day-to-day of how to progressively get better and peak at the right time of the season and be playing our best football in October and November.
You talk about position battles, and I know every year there's a lot of competition. Maybe this year taking over, so many new guys coming in, that is as hot of competitions at a lot of different positions as you could possibly have. How was that, seeing guys duke it out, and to see, at least to start the season, who would be higher up on the depth chart and who would be those guys nipping at their heels?
Are you talking about the actual names of the individuals and the battles that have happened?
However you want to take it, Coach. Just what comes to your mind when you think about position battles this fall and getting ready for the season?
Yeah, I think there's been many battles, especially when we brought in transfers out of the spring, just the ability to try to get them up to speed, but then coach them and see who's the actual best football player, not just who's the player that knows the most at the current moment. Because you got to take a player from the start of the season and you got to continuously build to be a product that you're proud of at the end of the season. For me, it's, we brought in several transfers and they came in right away. They came here for a reason to compete, and there's been just a competitive maturity about this. But I think if you're honest as a position coach and you're honest as a head coach, there's no lack of gray, or there's no gray area on where a player sits if you constantly critique the things that he needs to improve at, as well as the things that he's done well. And the players see it. They might not always like where they sit in a depth chart, but it's up to them to change where they sit. It's up to us as coaches to have an honest evaluation and hold them true to their actions on what they're actually doing right, where they need to improve. And the best players are going to play. I said that from the jump to the team. This isn't the YMCA. Not everybody gets a participation medal. If you're good enough, you'll play. And maybe that's the reason why there's a million oars on our depth chart. But I didn't make too much of that. Holy smokes, when the media catches something, they just run on it. If anything that you could take is that we got some, at certain spots, there's some real depth. And if the first guy's not ready, the next guy will be. So that's maybe what I'm most excited about, how it comes together collectively as a team. I don't think we'll know until the bullets are flying and then we are forced to respond inside of a game, because I think that's how you see culture.
And with that, I know when you're talking about maybe the media making a deal out of something, and the question you get asked a lot is when there's not necessarily a clear-cut quarterback. How's the quarterback competition going? It's been a really great battle there, right? Yeah, it's been extremely competitive, really, ever since the summer. With adding Julian Duggar and a Johnny Shepard in the summer, they were kind of playing catch-up with everything that goes into the scheme and the verbiage and just overall knowledge. And then they did a great job throughout, fall camp, and that group got really competitive. Their numbers were really close in so many ways, whether it be completions or decision-making or mental errors or who gives up sacks, who doesn't, who scrambles well, who doesn't. And it's just trying to make the best decision for the team. As far as who they are as people, they all work hard. They're all committed to the process itself.
but there's only one quarterback that steps on the field at a time for us. So I'm excited to see, I'm not going to say who it is, but him take the field and see how he can lead us moving forward. And my faith is in him right now, and it will be, but there's another guy that's chomping at the bit right behind him to get in the game.
Well, we can't wait for Saturday for so many reasons to see the Cougs take the field in the opener against Idaho. And we're talking about people. We want to hear about our guests tonight. And I know Jesse Bobbitt is someone that you know very, very well, and Parker McKenna is someone you've gotten to know very, very well, a returner for the Cougs, and someone I know you're expecting big things from this year. Let's talk about Jesse Bobbitt, defensive coordinator for the Cougs. Unique for him that he had been here before. So he was with you at South Dakota State, but had been on the staff here at Washington State. What does he mean to you in the program?
Well, I've been with him since 2000. Bobbitt, what year were you a freshman? 2014? 13. Yeah, so when he chose to come to South Dakota State as a player, I wasn't the coach in which he thought he was coming into. The coach that recruited him was Jay Bubach, who was the defensive coordinator that I played for. And then, I had left South Dakota State to take a position at Florida Atlantic as a graduate assistant there when I was finished as a GA at South Dakota State. And I showed up, and Jesse was a true freshman. And a really intuitive, smart, self-aware 18, 19-year-old player that had an immediate impact, wanted to learn, maybe had one of the longer attention spans of anybody I've met as far as, he could tell you, I may get in trouble for this, but during fall camps, we would have meetings on meetings, and he wouldn't go home till midnight. So he's learned a lot of football over the years. He's grown so much in a coach. He's always been great as a leader. He was a leader as a freshman, whether he knew it or not. But what he's been able to do in his short time as a coordinator, I think it's more special, not just the X's and O's, because he's really smart with that. It's more about bringing people together and making them believe that it's bigger than them as an individual, and everybody has a role, and their role matters. And I think when you lead people, that may be the most important part of leadership, is that you get people to accept the position that they're in and crave for more, but at the same time continue to grow and want to get closer together, because when you play a team sport like football, I don't think there's anything more important than the collectiveness of a group.
Well, we're going to keep with our theme of linebackers, and we'll go to the active linebacker here of our guest tonight, Parker McKenna. What does he bring to the team both on and off the field?
Yeah, he's a really hard worker. He's maybe our most physical tackler on the team. He plays the position like how you'd want him to play it, as far as the physicality and how he runs to the ball, and then he works extremely hard. He's worked his butt off to learn this scheme and ask a ton of good questions, and consistently grows day in and day out, and that's kind of what you'd ask for from a guy that's seen as a leader in his position group. He's going to have a big role this year. I'm excited for him to play in this system. There's probably a little bit more flex and freedom and feel in our defense than the one that he just played in. There's no knock on the other defense. It's just how we teach things. It's I think he'll make a huge impact in our defense.
Well, we're excited to talk with both of them coming up. Coach, we'll let you loose. Enjoy some of the great food here at the Lumberyard.
I love this place. This is a great place. So
isn't this awesome? Again, here at the Lumberyard, Coach is going to go enjoy some of that food. We'll take a time out. When we come back, WSU defensive coordinator Jesse Bobbitt will stop by. We're getting you ready for week 1 of the Cougar football season. It is the Cougar Football Hour. More after this on the Cougar Sports Network.
This September, you could be leaving Northern Quest in something different. A lot different. As in, the whole neighborhood suddenly has a staring problem when you roll up in a new GMC Canyon. Different. It's our $160,000 Grander Canyon giveaway. With 2 2025 GMC Canyons up for grabs, plus thousands in cash prizes. For the extra garage space you're about to need. The Grander Canyon giveaway. Grand prize drawing September 8th and 29th. Only at Northern Quest.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. Rural communities face unique healthcare challenges. By providing hands-on opportunities for WSU students in health sciences, nursing, pharmacy, and the LCNS Floyd College of Medicine, Pullman Regional Hospital is helping to shape the future of local healthcare. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
Okay, text from the wedding planner. She's talking about a cake pop mural.
Exciting.
Ooh, it's $8,000.
Oh.
I don't know. We're trying to save for a house.
Well, you only get married once. Or twice. 3 times tops.
There's a lot of bad money advice out there. For knowledge you can trust, come to Gisa Credit Union. Whether it's saving for the wedding or everything that comes after, we can help get you where you want to be. Find a healthier approach to money at Gisa.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest, yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. We are back live at the Lumberyard in Pullman. It is the Cougar Football Hour, our first episode of this season. And we'll bring on our first guest outside of Jimmy Rogers. We've got defensive coordinator Jesse Bobbitt here. Jesse, thanks for being here tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you having me.
Well, it is fantastic to have you as a guest, and I know this is unique for you. This is a new staff coming in, but you are the guy, the go-to source as far as what's it like being in Pullman, what's WSU like. How is it being back in Pullman after having previously been a coach here before?
No, it's a blessing to be back in Pullman. It's definitely a place that I always wanted to come back to. I can say that I didn't. Can you hear that? Is it rumbling?
I think we got a little bit of a mic connection up there, but we should be good.
Heavy?
Yeah.
It was definitely a place I wanted to come back to. I didn't expect it to happen maybe that fast or the way it did. But I'm so thankful to be here. The community is great. And when you combine this community and the support with our staff that we're coming here with, and then the types of players that we have in this roster, that's what makes it special. And we're excited to be here and get this thing rolling this week.
So when Jimmy comes up to you and at some point says, hey, the WSU job could be a possibility, what went through your mind?
Yeah, I was taken aback, like, man, this is kind of wild, but I was extremely excited, not only, selfishly for me, but for Jimmy. He's worked his tail off for a lot of years to put himself in a position to continue to grow, and it all paid off. And so, when he let me know that some of this stuff was going on, we had quite a few hours of conversations on the phones, already starting to maybe plan and see what could happen if it were to be the right thing for him when he went through the process. And so, my fingers were crossed for whatever was meant to happen would happen, and it happened the way it was supposed to. So.
And I know for you, your first time at WSU, it's kind of a unique story how you ended up here, where it wasn't necessarily where you thought you were going originally, but a phone call and kind of a conversation, what you were told to do, changed all that.
Yeah, I did an interview at the coaches convention in Nashville in January to go to Wyoming as a graduate assistant. Was the most in-depth interview I've ever been a part of for a graduate assistant job with that whole staff and Dickert. And so I was going to Wyoming, and the next day, the day I was supposed to be leaving, or the next day I was going to be leaving, Dickert gave me a call and said that he had gotten the job at Washington State as the DC, and kind of told me to keep driving. And so literally I had to rush up and pack a day early, and I took off. And at that point he told me, hey, don't tell anyone, this isn't quite whatever yet official, haven't signed the contract, I don't know. And so I kept driving, and then he was one of the guys, Coach Rogers was one of the guys that gave me a call the next day. He was like, yo, he's not at Wyoming anymore. I was like, yeah, I'm actually going to Wazoo with him. And so that was a cool moment, and I'll be forever thankful to Dickert for giving me that opportunity to come out here initially. And it's definitely taken me where I'm at today and the growth in my career, and blessed to be where I'm at.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. How was your first experience here at WSU?
It was good. There was a lot of ups and downs just because COVID happened after 3 months. And so there's a lot of unique things that happened in those few years that I was here. But that was, I would say, the biggest growth that I've had in my career so far. And it was at the start of my career, which was in the moment was like, man, what is this college coaching experience all about? I was questioning myself for a little bit, but at the end of the day, those are the lows that you push through, and you grow, and you rely on the people around you to help you grow and push through some hard times, and was blessed to have those 2 years and then be able to go back to South Dakota State after that. So.
And then it all works out. Here you are, back as the defensive coordinator for the Cougs. And Coach Rogers made the comment earlier saying that, the last 7 months have felt like 3 years. I imagine that probably rings true for you because you had a lot going on professionally, but personally as well when this whole coaching transition happened, right?
Yeah, it was unique timing. My wife and I were expecting in March. Obviously, this was all happening, so she was 7.5 months pregnant, and when that all went down, when Coach Rogers accepted the job, we left 2 days later. I never went back to South Dakota, and we rushed and got Shelby up here. My wife, Shelby, and our daughter now, Romy, was born March 18th. She's 5.5 years old, but we got them up here before the birth. Shout out to Pullman Regional Hospital, wherever you're at out there, saving lives and giving birth.
And delivering babies.
Delivering babies, that's the statement. But yeah, no, it was a wild time, and I was glad it all worked out that she could be up here and I could be a part of that, especially with all the craziness going on here.
That is a lot of life in a short amount of span for you and your family. Well, again, we're joined by Jesse Bobbitt, Cougar defensive coordinator, here on the Cougar Football Hour. We will take a timeout again, still to come. We'll have WSU linebacker Parker McKinnon stopping by, and we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. We'll talk a little more about the Week 1 opponent, Idaho, on tap Saturday night, 7 o'clock kickoff at Giesa Field to get the season started. More from the Lumberyard in Pullman after this. You are listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
Hampton and Pullman is just a short drive from the Wazoo campus. They've got you covered for all your lodging and dining needs with a new addition of their on-site bar and restaurant, Crimson Bar and Bites. You will feel right at home with their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, cozy outdoor patios, Cougar gift shop, and the friendliest staff in town. Visit HamptonbyHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton and Pullman. Hilton for the stay.
If you use natural gas, you recognize its blue flame. But natural gas is actually invisible and odorless. That's why Avista adds a rotten egg scent in case there's ever a leak. If you smell natural gas at home, get outside fast. Don't flip switches or do anything to cause a spark. Go somewhere safe. Call 911. Then Avista. We'll take care of the problem and tell you when it's okay to return. Till then, it's a good excuse to visit the neighbors. Avista. We just want you to be safe.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
The weather is changing, and now is the time to prepare your home for winter with some new energy-efficient windows from McVey Brothers. McVey Brothers specializes in top-rated Cordoline window series that has the newest technology to reduce your heat bills and the perfect replacement doors to secure your home. And right now, when you install 4 new quality windows, we'll give you the 5th window at 50% off.
McVey Brothers Siding and Windows, we're working for you.
Give us a call for your free quote today.
This is the Cougar Football Hour. Tonight's show is presented by the Lumberyard. They got something for everyone at the Lumberyard Food Hall in downtown Pullman. Once again, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
It is the first Cougar Football Hour of the season. Washington State kicking off the season Saturday night at Giesa Field, 7 o'clock. Start time against Idaho. Here we are at the Lumberyard again. A big shout out to our new host of the Cougar Football Hour, the Lumberyard. Great food, great environment. It is a gorgeous night. The sun streaming through the windows here. It feels like the start of football season on the Palouse. So one quick reminder, the Junior Cougs Kids Club is presented by Toyota. It's the official kids club of the Washington State Cougars and is the best way for the youngest members of Cougar Nation to show off their Cougar pride. Find out more information about your Junior Cougs membership perks at WSUCougars.com/JRCougs. back with Washington State defensive coordinator Jesse Bobbitt. Okay, let's dive into this defense here. Let's just kind of go right into it. Defensive line, what has stood out most to you about the guys up front on your defense?
I think it's really, been the defensive line as a whole. From where we were at in the spring, bringing in some guys that were 4 different D linemen, 2 D ends, 2 D tackles this summer, and where we are at now through fall camp, the whole defensive line has grown a ton. Something we've prided ourselves in the past and have had a lot of success in this defense is having depth at D-line to be able to rotate and stay fresh, and I believe we have that. There's no doubt, and that was able to be shown this fall camp. And I would say, something that maybe initially as we got in here could have questioned whatever, I feel like is going to be a big strength to our defense, which is really exciting. Someone that has stood out a ton is all Coug Nation would know is Ram Stevenson. I believe, I was here when he was a freshman and came in and he was 180 pounds to where he's at now. I believe this will be his best year yet. He's playing his best ball right now. He's really confident. His body's feeling great and healthy, and he's going to be a difference maker for us this year for sure.
Looking forward to him wrecking havoc. Linebackers. So I know this is a spot near and dear to your heart, near and dear to the heart of Coach Rogers. What should Coug fans know about this group of linebackers?
Yeah, this is a group of linebackers that have come together really well, that have bought into the scheme and the attention to detail. The guys are always hungry, asking for more. Parker's always wandering around the building, trying to sneak into my office, whether I'm seeing if I'm free or not free to talk some more ball and pacing back and forth like today. But at the end of the day, these are guys that are hungry, want to learn. They've bought into the system. They're physical. They swarm to the ball. And it's a bunch of really good humans and good people. And at the end of the day, that's what we're going to bring in here as a coaching staff when we recruit and when we are looking for, whether it was transfers or bringing guys with or whatever it may be, is finding guys that are good people, that are willing to learn, and no job or role is too small or too big, and they're bought into doing what's best for the linebacker group, the defense, and the team. And that's the type of guys we have at linebacker.
And Parker McKenna, who we'll be talking to next, really excited for that conversation. Okay, let's move back to the secondary. Jamari Colson is back. A number of guys, looking for a bigger role. A number of impact transfers as far as the secondary as well. How are you feeling about the secondary going into the season?
Feel really good. It's funny when you look at a lot of positions on our defense, we're senior heavy for the first couple guys, then it drops down to freshmen, which is exciting because we've had a lot of really good leaders out of those seniors that have been able to bring those freshmen along, and you're going to see a lot of those young bucks be able to step up on our defense and make a big impact. At the end of the day, Maury Colson has done an awesome job. From what I've seen, I feel really confident that he's going to be a huge piece for us in being able to play man and pressure like we want to this year, and him be able to lock some guys down along with Colby Humphrey across from him. And you got leaders like Tucker Lodge. I know people have been excited about Tucker and his and Matt Durant and Cale Reeder and a lot of these guys. And at the end of the day, they're guys that care a ton, are bought into working hard and giving their best. They're going to communicate. They are going to be sound in their adjustments and make sure that we're all on the same page. And to be successful on defense, you got to have guys that are confident and are willing to communicate and adjust in moments when it gets tough in a game.
And I know, hearing from Coach Rogers, hearing from you, it's important to set the standard.
Yeah.
What would you tell Coug fans that the goals for this defense are this year?
Yeah, we have a couple different sets of goals in a sense. As a defense, I talked about it this summer during fall camp at one point, was our collective best. It's not necessarily measurable scientifically or with data, but our collective best is how do we look, how do we sound, how do we feel on a daily basis. And that's a standard that we've talked about through the spring, through the summer, and through fall camp, unit meeting every single night of fall camp. And then the other set of goals is the ones that are measurable, the ones that at the end of the day are statistical after a weekly basis. And one of the main ones, a top one in winning a game, is holding an offense to obviously a limited amount of points. And we have a high goal there. Not afraid to put it out there. 14 points per game is our standard. It's our goal on a weekly basis. At the end of the day, if you want to be the best, you got to set goals to achieve the best. And so at the end of the day, we have high expectations, and the guys will understand that. They do understand that. And when we go out there, the goal is we got to win on defense. That doesn't mean our offense isn't going to have success. They are. But our mindset has to be that we have to win on defense. And it's going to be a defense that swarms to the ball, that has a lot of fire and passion to them. And at the end of the day, they're going to execute and limit explosive plays. That's a big thing for us. If we can limit explosive plays to 5 or less in a game, we'll win a lot of games. And so we're excited to do that as a defense and do our part and get the ball back to our offense.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait to see your defense out there. And before we let you go, last thing for you, when your fellow coaches, their families come to you to ask about Pullman, what has been that top thing to kind of describe how special Pullman is? Because you've been that guy who has lived it, where you're kind of that guy on the staff who has been here before.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is like the family atmosphere and the welcoming feeling. Wherever you go, everywhere you walk, people are wearing crimson and gray and Coug gear. And so you don't walk into a town and you're like, man, do people, people care, there's support. And so that was the biggest thing I shared my advice with Coach Rogers was this place is going to be special. They're going to welcome us and there's going to be great support. And game days are going to be electric. And we're looking forward to that here on Saturday.
Well, we're feeling it here tonight at the Lumberyard for our first Cougar Football Hour. Can't wait for Saturday. Jesse, thanks for being here. And let's go. Let's get the season started.
No doubt. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Again, that is defensive coordinator for the Cougs, Jesse Bobbitt, joining us here on the Cougar Football Hour. A reminder that if you want to tune into our broadcast this year, you can tune in on an app, free app. It's the WSU Cougars Game Day app. If you don't already have that downloaded, get that downloaded. Great information there, but you can stream all of our broadcasts, including our Cougar football broadcast, on the WSU Cougars Game Day app. Free way to stream all of our broadcasts, of course, including the Cougar Football Hour as well. Well, things will roll on here from the Lumberyard after this break. Coming up, we'll be joined by Cougar linebacker Parker McKenna, and we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. That is all after this timeout. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
Play, stay, get away at Clearwater River Casino in Lewiston, Idaho. Owned and operated by the Nez Perce Tribe. Experience Namipu hospitality with 600 gaming machines, comfortable lodging, dining, and sports bar. Excitement is everywhere. The region's premier destination for events and entertainment. Win big with unforgettable concerts, comedy shows, and live sports action. Discover your next play, stay, get away. Visit crcasino.com and start your adventure today.
Everybody knows you shouldn't retire until you're 65.
Buying a house? 20% down or nothing, bud.
It's easy. Put your money into savings and never touch it.
There's a lot of questionable money advice out there. For financial knowledge that can help you reach your version of success, come to Giza Credit Union. We can walk you through everything you need to feel confident about your finances. There's a healthier approach to money. Find it at Giza Credit Union. Giza is an equal opportunity lender.
Vanity Fair calls BritBox a delicious streamer. Collider says everyone should be watching. Catch Britain's next best series with BritBox. Stream acclaimed new originals like Code of Silence.
You read lips, right?
And Linley, based on the best-selling mystery series.
Say hi, Linley. Take it from here.
And don't miss the new season of Karen Piri, coming this October.
You don't look like police. I'll take that as a compliment.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox. Watch with a free trial today.
Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes every moment cheering on your team even better. Plus, the mountains on the bottles and cans turn blue when your beer is Rocky Mountain cold. So you never have to guess if your Coors Light is ready to drink. So crack one open, take a sip, and enjoy the game. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Back at the Lumberyard in Pullman, it is the Cougar Football Hour, our first show of the season, getting you all ready for the opener on Saturday. Giza Field, 7 o'clock kickoff against Idaho. And we're joined now by WSU linebacker Parker McKenna. Parker, thanks for being here, and let's take a look at this poster for the Cougs this year. Who's this guy in the very top in the middle? Is this the I just made a stop on 4th and 1 face? What can you describe there?
Yeah, that's a celebration face for sure.
Good. Well, looking forward to, as best as we can, through your face mask, seeing that face a lot this year. Okay, year 2 as a Coug. How are things year 2? Last year you transferred from Portland State. First year at Washington State. How is it being here year 2 at Washington State?
It's been great. Honestly, didn't really know what to expect with the new coaching staff and everything. But I got extremely fortunate how it worked out for my senior year, and just very grateful.
Had to be kind of unique last year. This year's opponent's Idaho. Last year's opponent was your former team in Portland State. That had to add a little extra wrinkle to the first game of the year.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I actually played, when I was at Portland State, I played Washington State in 2021. I think Bobby was up in the box. But I was running the flex defense, 8 yards back, and just playing sideline to sideline, pretty fun. But, yeah, last year was definitely weird seeing all those guys come out of the tunnel and just kind of saying hey to them. And, yeah, but it was pretty fun.
And last year we saw some really, really quality performances from you, but I'm sure for this year you're primed to take on a bigger role and primed for what's coming your way in your senior season?
Yeah, absolutely. Last year it was good to, kind of learn a new defense and play at this level. It was awesome, but I'm just really excited for this year.
Okay, your head coach, former linebacker, your defensive coordinator, former linebacker. It's probably pretty nice for you, right, where when you're talking to both of those guys, they know how to speak the same language as you. I know they know the entire team, but that can't hurt that they've been in your exact shoes before.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob and Rogers, they played it, so it's not only, learning the scheme and them teaching it, but it's also teaching how to play and, not just being a robot. So,
from Beaverton, Oregon native, a Northwest guy, what did you know about Washington State, and what did you know about Coug fans and what it means to be a Coug before ultimately transferring here last year?
Really nothing, to be honest with you. I grew up being an Oregon Ducks fan.
We won't hold that against you. You're a Coug for life now.
No, I know it. But no, I didn't know too much until I got here about a year and a half ago. So.
And now you bleed crimson and gray. And for you, you've been busy in the classroom. You have your degree in social sciences. So let's hear it up for that. Already have your degree wrapped up. What's keeping you busy now away from the football field?
Right now, I'm in a yoga class, and then I'm taking a few online classes. So,
are you getting an A in yoga to this point?
Yeah, 100% right now. So.
Okay, good. You got a lot of football in front of you as a Coug, and hopefully as much football as you want to in front of you. But when you think about putting that degree to work, or what the future holds after your college football career, what are you hoping for?
Yeah, my dad, every time he calls me, he's always asking me that question. I'm still kind of figuring it out. Obviously, I love football. I want to play as long as I can. But maybe, I've always thought about working at Nike. I grew up 15 minutes from the headquarters, or something within football. So.
Yeah, I would think if you grow up in Beaverton, everyone's aware of Nike, but if you grow up in Beaverton, you're extra aware of Nike.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, talking with Parker McKenna, Washington State linebacker here, and now that you are a Coug, what's been the best part of it? Has there been an interaction you've had? Has it been, you've gotten to go Cougs in a random place, anything like that, or is it just the day in and day out of having this experience in Pullman?
Yeah, I've definitely gotten to go Cougs somewhere far away from here. But I think it's just kind of like the culture here in the small town, and everyone loves the Cougs. I didn't have anything like that at Portland State, so it's been awesome.
Okay, you live it, you leave it all out on the field. What do you want everyone here, all the fans watching, listening here at the Lumberyard, to know about how excited you are for the season and what this means for you and your teammates to get everything going on Saturday night?
Yeah, it means the world to me, and just super excited. You're going to see a lot of guys that love ball and play with a lot of passion. So.
Parker, thanks for being here. Go Cougs, and we'll see you and your teammates out there on Saturday.
All right, thank you so much.
Again, that is Washington State linebacker Parker McKenna stopping by here at the Lumberyard in Pullman on the Cougar Football Hour. We will take a timeout. When we come back, we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. That's all after this here on the Cougar Sports Network.
Hampton and Pullman is just a short drive from the WSU campus. They've got you covered for all your lodging and dining needs with a new addition of their on-site bar and restaurant, Crimson Bar and Bites. You will feel right at home with their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, cozy outdoor patios, Cougar gift shop, and the friendliest staff in town. Visit HamptonByHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton and Pullman. Hilton for the stay.
When putting in a tree or fence post, we all hate it when our shovel hits a big rock. But there are worse things to come across, like a natural gas or electric line. Nowadays, buried utilities are everywhere, some just below the surface. That's why it's the law to call 811 before you dig, to have your lines marked ahead of time. It's free for Avista residential customers. So call 811 2 business days before you dig. You need time to pick out that perfect shrub anyway. Avista, we just want you to be safe.
For nearly 100 years, Adams Tractor has helped the Northwest knock out to-do list one tough job at a time. As your local Kubota dealer in Spokane and Lewiston, we're proud to back Washington State athletics with the same grit we bring to every yard, field, and job site. From mowing to digging to plowing, Kubota delivers, and so do we. Visit adamstractor.com. Adams Tractor, nearly a century strong, powered by Kubota, fueled by Coug pride.
RV buyers, it's a fact. Valley RV Supercenter is America's #1 volume Jayco store. And as their volume leader, Jayco keeps them supplied with all the models. Let's just say they have what you're looking for. Jayco Class A, B, and C motorhomes, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and travel trailers, including the best-selling trailer in the world since 2005, the Jayco J-Flight. And they all come with the best warranty in the industry. Go see them in Kent or visit ValleyRVSupercenter.com, where journeys begin.
Back at the Lumberyard in Pullman, it is the Cougar Football Hour, Week 1. First game of the season, Saturday night at Giesa Field. Washington State hosting Idaho, 7 o'clock kickoff. We're rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. It is time now for the opponent preview, presented by Coors Light. Choose Chill, proud partner of Cougar Athletics. Celebrate responsibly. All right, let's dive into this week's matchup. Idaho, the opponent. Okay, a stone's throw away. The Vandals will make the trek across the border. Battle of the Palouse. This Idaho program has been very strong in recent years. They're the number 12 preseason ranked team in the FCS. They finished last year ranked number 7. I'm sure they're a team that was probably on your radar. You used to work with Jason Eck and some of the coaches that were on that staff. He left for New Mexico. They've got a new coach in Thomas Ford, who was on the staff under Jason Eck when he first started there. What do you know about this year's version of the Vandals that will be coming to town on Saturday?
Yeah, I think they got a lot of returning reps on that offensive line. I just doing self-study of individual players, because there's a lot of new faces on their team as well. I would say a bulk of their reps, where there's banked reps for experience, comes at the O-line position, comes at the running back position, and then everything runs through the quarterback. And Joshua Wood is a special talent. Being able to watch, how they've utilized him at Fresno State as a true freshman, and then last year just watching him compete and grow and playing in that bowl game and doing really well. It'll be a challenge, and we're excited about that. Obviously, some of those players that were on last year's team had left and followed either Coach Eck to New Mexico or they transferred elsewhere. And so they kind of went through a little bit like us, maybe not to the extent with numbers. So it'll be interesting, because I don't know if I've ever prepared for a game where you don't know the scheme for one of the new coaches, as well as not know all of the players and who is actually going to step out on the field. But you do the best you can to make it not so much about the other team, but how we can apply our rules and be sound in what we do and allow the guys to play free and play relaxed and play on the attack. So there's a lot of challenges in this, and we'll have to adapt inside of a game like you would any game.
Joshua Wood, their quarterback that you're talking about, transfer from Fresno State. His dad, Victor, for Coug fans who remember, a former Coug, had a big performance in the Aloha Bowl, so some connections there with Joshua Wood and Washington State. But for him, you talk about how dangerous he is. I mean, he's really can hurt you with his legs, right? It's not just what he can do with his arms, but his dual threat ability.
Yeah, he does a good job. They do a good job, or Fresno State did, as far as utilizing his strength in the run game as a quarterback, but also he extends plays with his legs on natural drop back passes or sprint out pass. Just being able to create and add that element makes a challenge to a defense, just like tight ends that can catch, right? So we got to be on edge a little bit with trying to do our best to contain him as much as possible. And then we got to make the most of our opportunities when we have the ability to get home with pressures or sacks.
You look at this history, the series history, 93 prior meetings. WSU and Idaho first played in 1894. Between that long history and the proximity, does that kind of make it a unique opponent that week 1, this is against the neighbors essentially?
I think it's cool, though. I mean, to be able to be right down the block from another, Division I school that has had a ton of success, the ability to play in close proximity and fill a stadium. I think that creates energy for the players and just the overall town of Pullman and Moscow here on the Palouse and competing against each other. I hope this one never goes away. I hope I said it last night. I think it was last night. Hope the UW game never goes away. I just think the more you can play in close proximity to your opponent, the more fans want to show up and be a part of something. And rivalries in college football is what makes college football so special. It creates energy, and the players feed off of it.
Well, we can't wait for that game Saturday night. And for everyone who already has their tickets, we can't wait to see you. If you don't have your tickets, the weather's looking great. It is a Cougar football Saturday. The season gets started. Hope to see you out at Giesa Field. Again, 7 o'clock kickoff on Saturday night. Our coverage on the Cougar Sports Network side of things will get started at 5 o'clock. We'll take another break here on the Cougar Football Hour. When we come back, Coach, we have listener and audience questions on the show. Are you buckled up? You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get to that. We'll take a time out here from the Lumberyard. The Cougar Football Hour rolls on right here on the Cougar Sports Network.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. Rural communities face unique healthcare challenges. By providing hands-on opportunities for WSU students in health sciences, nursing, pharmacy, and the Elson S. Floyd College of Medicine, Pullman Regional Hospital is helping to shape the future of local healthcare. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
This September, you could be leaving Northern Quest in something different. A lot different. As in, the whole neighborhood suddenly has a staring problem when you roll up in a new GMC Canyon. Different. It's our $160,000 Grander Canyon giveaway. With 2 2025 GMC Canyons up for grabs, plus thousands in cash prizes. You know, for the extra garage space you're about to need. The Grander Canyon giveaway. Grand prize drawing September 8th and 29th. Only at Northern Quest.
With the WSU debit card from Giesa, it's hard to tell who's supporting who. When Coug fans use their WSU card, they show off their Coug pride and donations are made back to Cougar Athletics. But the card supports the Coug fan by helping them grow their money. So does the card support the Coug fan or does the Coug fan support the card? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that the WSU card supports Cougar Athletics and your wallet at the same time. Get your WSU card at Giesa.com. Checking account transaction requirements, terms and conditions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This way. Back at the Lumberyard here in Pullman, it is the Cougar Football Hour here with the head coach of the Cougs, Jimmy Rogers. We were talking the Week 1 opponent, the Cougs hosting the Vandals Saturday night, and let's dive into it. We got some listener and audience questions. Coach, we're going to get into this one here. We always love them when they're written on the piece of paper, kind of the grocery list. Welcome, Coach Rogers. Over the years of the radio shows, we've learned about our coaches beyond football, talking about Coach Leach, how he liked bologna sandwiches, Davy Crockett in Key West, Coach Dickert, how he played the trombone, had never seen Star Wars. Have you seen Star Wars?
Yeah, a long time ago, though. I'm not a big Star Wars guy, though.
Okay, well, you got one up there. You've at least seen it. Can you start us off with some fun facts? It says 3 here. Rattle off as much as you can. I know you are a football guy through and through, right?
Yeah, so when these questions come up, this is harder than anything that we talk about football.
Can we get out the chalkboard and we could break down some X's and O's?
Well, I'm the youngest of 3. My dad, I grew up with my father being a police officer, and my mom was in education. What else? I don't have a ton of hobbies that I'm extremely passionate about. I like to fish, but I'm terrible. I'm terrible at golf.
Do you enjoy it though? Do you go out for 4 hours and enjoy it?
If I can keep the one ball I have, but when I go through 2 dozen that I already bought prior to going into it, that gets rough. Yeah. Fun facts. I'm married. I got 2 kids. One of them.
That's pretty good.
Is a handful. He's up there somewhere running around.
Okay. How old are they?
She is 7, and my son is 6.
Okay. That's a lot of energy.
Yeah. Actually, fun fact. My daughter will be turning 8. What is it? A day after the game, right? 2 days after the first game. So.
Well, an early happy birthday.
Yeah.
And the first one here in Pullman, so hope it's a great one and a memorable one. Talking about community stuff, I just, I was thinking, fun fact, I know you can stir some lentil chili. I saw the picture of you from Lentil Fest. You looked like you knew what you were doing there.
I've never been to an event like that. That was pretty cool. I need to put more on in Pullman. I think that the more you can bring the community together and put on events like that, the more people want to continue to grow this place and be at not just football games, but every weekend. That's what's special about a smaller community is that you have events like that and you get to know people and you actually care about the conversation you have when you ask somebody how they're doing. You don't get that in a big city and you don't get it at most places.
That is for sure. And then another fun fact for you, recently met Klay Thompson, right?
I did. That was a spur of the moment thing. I got come down to the field. So I went down there and there he was throwing the ball around a little bit, and then he took off and he was running wind sprints up the stadium stairs, and then he came back and threw the football for like 2 more minutes. We got a picture, and off he was off to go, I think, play hoops with the basketball team, and then off to golf. So he's got a lot of energy, but he's a great player, and it's cool to kind of see his transition because I had followed him kind of going into the NBA and then the success that he's had.
Love having him back in Pullman. That was so awesome. We've got some great listener and audience questions. We're kind of getting up against time, so we'll get in what we can. We'll go just in order as best as you can answer this one fairly quickly. Mark B. Coach, welcome and good luck this year. As far as your decision-making goes on 4th down, is it based more on analytics or your gut? Mark from Riverside, California.
Yeah, I think it goes into the preparation of what you put into a game week, but we have the book. Do I always agree with the book? I don't. I think the book doesn't have emotion tied to it. It's just straight, flat numbers. And the kids that we coach aren't robots either. So you can't make robotic decisions. You got to take the game as it comes to you. If anything, the clock awareness and the situations of time is maybe something I would take from the book more than I would if we should go for it or not.
I hear the fight song. That means that's all the time we have, Coach. Thanks for doing
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming.
Here we go for Jimmy Rogers, our guest Jesse Bobbitt, and also Parker McKenna for our great staff on site here. Jerry Kylo on the audio side, Jared Pringruber on the video side. For Zane Saggio back in the studio, I'm Chris King signing off. We'll see you Saturday. Go Cougs, opener against Idaho, 7 o'clock kickoff. You've been listening to the Cougar Football Hour here on the Cougar Sports Network.